Do you trust people? Maybe you can't give a general answer to this question, or maybe you're not sure about whom you can trust and whom you can't trust. In any case, this video is just for you, as we introduce you to 7 types of people about whom your doubts about their trustworthiness are more than justified. If you like our videos, then support us with a thumbs up, subscribe to Psychology and Everyday Life, activate the little bell, and look forward to the videos we upload for you every day. Number 1. Tattletales. If you confide in someone, you rightfully expect that your secret or your discussion should remain just between the two of you. Beware of people who tend to gossip, spread rumors, and denigrate others behind their backs. They abuse the trust of their coworkers and friends. In such cases, we could only call them false friends. Even their relatives are not safe from their irrepressible urges to tattle. Their motives can vary from just irresponsible fun to spitefulness and the twisted joy of seeing others put in a bad light. They care little about the fact that these actions hurt others, sometimes severely. They're only interested in carefree chit-chat and possibly putting on airs. Number 2. Belittlers of Colleagues. This type ties in with the one just mentioned, but differs in quality. A person who spills secrets is basically talking to the disadvantage of a third person. If you meet people who seem friendly to you and trustworthy at first glance, but soon begin to denigrate or put down others, be careful. Such characters are either unable to resolve their conflicts directly with the persons in question, or they take out their changeable moods on third parties who cannot defend themselves at all in their absence. This is very cowardly and absolutely underhanded behavior. In such a case, you must definitely assume that this person will also denigrate you in your absence. Number 3. Weak self-consciousness. Weak self-consciousness, which is often found in these people, leads to tactless and extremely insensitive behavior towards their fellow human beings. The trust that other people place in them is often the only way for them to somewhat enhance their weak self-importance. This allows them to exert control over others, and in the worst case, even to blackmail them with confidential information. Their selfish approach puts their own interests above everything and everyone else. Their conspicuous inability to correct themselves does not contribute to insight. When asked about their tactless behavior, they are full of indignation. They accept no guilt, and the fault always lies with others. With such characters, breach of trust is pre-programmed, since they cannot improve themselves due to their lack of self-consciousness and other deficits. The nature of a person cannot be changed at the push of a button. At best, something like a guilty conscience can arise only after repeated misbehavior. Number 4. Lack of empathy. Untrustworthy people are often characterized by a lack of empathy. This means that such people are not able to emotionally put themselves in the shoes of their fellow human beings. They lack a basic sense of the needs and wants of the other people. Empathy is a basic requirement for any good relationship. It could be called the bridge to a harmonious friendship. Characters who prove to be less empathic are especially likely to stand out in their environment because of their unscrupulous behavior. They justify their uncooperative behavior with flimsy excuses. What is striking about these people is that they deliberately manipulate their fellow human beings. Their everyday actions are characterized by calculation. Their cold heart will reveal itself at the point that you are in difficult straits and no longer of any use to them. Number 5. Unreliability. Reliability is one of the foundations of every relationship. Especially on the level of friendship, a moody and changeable person is not trustworthy. Having a boyfriend or girlfriend who doesn't know what he or she wants can put any interpersonal relationship to the test. For example, if you are busy planning a trip, you should be able to count on an always reliable partner or friend. Unusual circumstances can affect anyone, but as a rule, a changeable character will come up with flimsy excuses much more often. For such people, A last-minute cancellation of a long-planned trip due to capriciousness or simple lack of interest is not uncommon. If your plans are repeatedly canceled at the last minute by him or her, you should take notice and question his or her basic trustworthiness. Not all disappointments are forgivable. Refusing to accept no for an answer. Yes, there are people who, on principle, simply cannot handle an answer of no. In such cases, a critical discussion with such an uncomprehending person is advisable. For disagreements, insofar as they do not occur constantly and arbitrarily, must be respected. This is about the acceptance of your counterpart. A clearly formulated no is unmistakable and requires no further discussion. Stubborn characters will try at this point to change your mind by means of all their persuasive power, clever manipulation, and a large dosage of charm. That they are only interested in you to the extent that you are of personal use to them becomes totally clear the moment that you refuse to go along with them on some matter. Number 7. Contradictory public behavior. A rather unmistakable indication of an untrustworthy person is their contradictory behavior in a strange environment. This means, for example, suspiciously different behavior in the company of a group or at work among colleagues. Take note of any major change in their personality. People who show two fundamentally different faces in private and public life should be looked at critically in terms of their loyalty. Of course, especially shy people can have reasons such as self-protection or distance behind distinct behaviors, but anyone who is never 100% truthful with you and then shows a face that is completely foreign to you in the presence of others should be critically questioned. In the worst case, it could be a false friend. A trustworthy friend would behave authentically and not behave artificially in front of a group. Today's conclusion: trust is like a tender little plant. Unfortunately, it can be destroyed faster than you would like. Some signs that should arouse your distrust only show up over time. However, a trustworthy person who means well by you should never need to pretend. Basically, every person should have a healthy amount of basic trustworthiness. A healthy skepticism is important and normal at the beginning of every relationship in order to avoid deceptions and disappointments. That's it for today.
Thanks for watching. Did you find this information helpful? Do you have experience with it? We would love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and let us know your thoughts. For more resources about mental health, self-improvement, and psychology, visit our website. You'll find the link in the video description where you can also connect with us on social media and sign up for our email list. Take care of yourself and have a beautiful day.